All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're putting on our coaching hats and stepping into the pressure cooker of a playoff crisis. What happens when your superstar goes down? We're going to go inside that strategic war room to really understand the impossible choices a coach has to make, right there in real time.
Now, this isn't just some hypothetical exercise. This is the exact nail-biting situation the San Antonio Spurs are staring down against Portland. Their whole season is hanging by a thread, and we're about to walk through the strategic fallout when the biggest piece on your chessboard is suddenly swiped away.
So, first things first. To really get a grip on the problem, you have to understand the player. From a coaching standpoint, you literally build your entire system around your most unique, most dominant piece. So let's break down why Victor Wembanyama is basically irreplaceable.
As a coach, this number tells you everything. 3.1 blocks per game means you have a human eraser in the paint. Think about that. Your whole defensive game plan is built on this foundation. You can tell your guys to be super aggressive on the perimeter because you know any mistake, any breakdown just gets funneled to him to clean up. When you lose that, man, you don't just lose a player, you lose your entire defensive philosophy.
And it's not just the shot blocking, not even close. The real crisis for the coaching staff is the sheer scale of his impact on both ends of the floor. This is a guy who's not only the unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, but he also just dropped the franchise playoff record for scoring in his debut. So when you lose the player who is your best offensive weapon and your entire defensive system, well, that's a strategic nightmare right there.
Okay, so let's get to the moment it all unraveled. The one play that put the Spurs' entire season on the brink and forced every whiteboard, every perfectly crafted game plan to get tossed right out the window. Here's how it all went down. The injury happens with about 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. By halftime, word comes down he's officially out. And then you see it. Without their defensive anchor, a big 14-point fourth-quarter lead just completely evaporates. It's a brutal gut punch of a loss that ties the series, and you can trace it all back to that one single moment.
So, as a coach, your mind is racing. And the first question you need an answer to is, how long is he out? We need to look at the official diagnosis and really understand why this specific injury is such a problem in the tight, unforgiving timeline of the postseason.
And Coach Mitch Johnson confirmed it right after the game. No beating around the bush. It's a concussion. And that means Wembanyama is officially in the league's protocol. Now this is huge because it takes the decision completely out of the team's hands.
Right, and for the coaching staff, the key thing to understand about the protocol is that it's not their call. This isn't a day-to-day thing they can manage. No, it's a mandatory, multi-step process with a minimum 48-hour period of total inactivity. With Game 3 tipping off on Friday in Portland, well, you can do the math. It just doesn't add up for a quick return.
And this just lays out the challenge perfectly, doesn't it? As a coaching staff, you're not just trying to replace points and rebounds. You are staring at a massive void, a black hole, really, in both your defensive strategy and your offensive production. You're trying to replace the central pillar of your entire game plan.
Okay, so you're the coach. You have to pivot. You have to. The diagnosis is in. The timeline is what it is. How in the world do you adjust the playbook to fill that void? What's the new strategy?
You know, the first move you make as a coach isn't even on the whiteboard. It's in the locker room. You have to instill this next man up mentality, and Devin Vassell just summed it up perfectly here. You have to make that team believe that the collective group can somehow compensate for losing an individual, even one this important.
In Game 2, that next man was the veteran Luke Kornet. And look, he stepped in, he battled, he put up a solid stat line. But here's the real coaching nightmare, the X's and O's problem. You can't just plug Kornet into Wembanyama's role. It doesn't work that way. Your entire defensive system was built on a drop coverage where Wembanyama hangs back and just erases shots at the rim. Kornet can't do that at the same elite level. So now what? In 48 hours, do you try to switch to a more aggressive hedging scheme? Do you play more zone? Every single one of those options requires rewiring the instincts of the other four guys on the floor, all in the middle of a playoff series.
So this all builds to the one crucial question. You're heading into a hostile arena for Game 3 in Portland. Can the Spurs actually survive this? Is that next man up mentality really enough to overcome this massive tactical void?
If you're the coach, this is the number you're writing on the whiteboard in big, bold letters. Because buried in all the data is this one surprising point of optimism. The Spurs' regular season record without Wembanyama was a very respectable 12-6. This is your proof. You can show the team tangible evidence that, hey, you guys already know how to win without him.
So it all comes down to this. They've proven they can win without him, sure, against a random opponent on a Tuesday night in February. But the playoffs? That's a completely different animal. The other team is scheming just for you. Every single possession is magnified. Can that regular season success actually translate when the stakes are this high? That's the question the Spurs coaching staff has to answer, and they have to answer it right now.